Exclusive, Liverpool makes major move to sign Rodrigo, Arsenal's target. Liverpool's $120 million interest in Isak is causing internal chaos at Newcastle. Attention! Liverpool reaches $79 million agreement with Frankfurt to sign Ugo Ehite. Welcome, football fan. Let's dive into Monday's updates from the biggest club in the world. Rodrigo to Liverpool? The possibility is becoming more real, and Reds fans are beginning to dream big. According to TBR Football, Liverpool spoke with the Real Madrid forwards representatives shortly after his return to Europe following the Club World Cup. Even better, the player showed interest in hearing proposals. Despite already securing Ugo Ehite from Eintracht Frankfurt, sporting director Richard Hughes remains ambitious in further strengthening Arne Slot's squad. The mission is clear: build a competitive, powerful team ready to reclaim the Premier League and challenge in Europe. In that vision, Rodrigo is a top priority. Another name that appeals to Hughes is Florian Wirtz, who is also considered for the left wing, a position that may be vacated if Luis Diaz departs. Bayern Munich continues its efforts to lure the Colombian away from Anfield. Should that happen, Slot will need a key figure on the left side of the attack. That's where Rodrigo gains momentum. The Brazilian forward, who shined at Real Madrid in decisive moments, returned from the Club World Cup with the sense that he may not be a guaranteed starter under Xabi Alonso. As a result, he and his team have started seriously considering other options, especially in the Premier League. Real Madrid respects the player's wishes and is already aware that Rodrigo is open to exploring new paths. That has created an opening for interested clubs to step in, and Liverpool moved quickly. Hughes has already opened talks with the Brazilians camp, and, according to journalist Graham Bailey, the interest is strong and concrete. Arsenal is also keeping a close eye. Sporting director Andrea Berta reportedly held talks with Rodrigo's team even before the Club World Cup, and the Gunners remain in the race. However, Liverpool has taken the lead, showing more intensity in discussions and greater willingness to advance in negotiations. Bayern Munich is another club monitoring the situation. They've admired Rodrigo since his days at Santos, before he even joined Real Madrid in 2019. However, the German giants have yet to move with the same urgency as Liverpool. Another key point: Real Madrid has no intention of complicating a transfer. Sources say the Spanish club is willing to negotiate for a fair price without making outrageous demands, a factor that encourages Liverpool and strengthens the chances of a deal happening this window. Even with the arrivals of Ehite and Wirtz, Liverpool is still looking to add 2 more forwards this summer, with possible exits of Darwin Núñez, Luis Diaz, Harvey Elliott, and Chiesa, not to mention Diogo Jota's serious injury. In this context, Rodrigo emerges as the ideal option. Versatile, technical, and decisive, he fits perfectly into Arne Slot's new system. Liverpool is moving with intelligence and boldness. The leadership knows the time to act is now, and all signs point to negotiations with Rodrigo heating up in the coming days. Fans are already imagining the Brazilian wearing the red shirt at Anfield, scoring in big matches, and writing a new chapter in the land of champions. Rodrigo may not just be another signing, he could be Liverpool's next great star.
Liverpool has reached an agreement with Eintracht Frankfurt worth up to £79 million for French striker Ugo Ehite, after quickly acting to secure a new number 9. The English club came to terms with the Germans, allowing the 23-year-old to undergo a medical before finalizing his move to Anfield. The deal includes a £69 million upfront fee plus £10 million in performance-based add-ons. This brings Liverpool's summer spending to over £250 million following the signings of Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, and Milos Kerkez. Ehite, who impressed over a season and a half in Germany, initially on loan from Paris Saint-Germain, was valued by Frankfurt at around €100 million, approximately £86.5 million. He is believed to have agreed to a 6-year contract with the English club. The signing comes amid a squad overhaul under Arne Slot, with Ehite's arrival following the departure of Darwin Núñez. Newcastle had talks with the player, but he chose Liverpool, convinced by the role he would play and the vision laid out by the Premier League champions. No forward aged 23 or under in Europe's top 5 leagues scored more goals than Ehite in the 2024-25 season, netting 22 in 48 appearances across the Bundesliga, Europa League, and DFB Pokal. Among Europe's young forwards, Only Gonzalo Ramos and Arnaud Calimuendo surpassed 15 goals, but none reached 20. League One, where Ramos and Calimuendo play, is seen as the weakest of the top 5 leagues. Statistically and stylistically, Ehite resembles Newcastle's Alexander Isak, who was deemed not for sale, prompting Liverpool to change targets. Though still developing, Ehite already shows great potential. Mail Sport had already reported in March that he was a top target. He's expected to join the squad for their preseason tour in Asia, with matches in Hong Kong and Japan. Arne Slot's team departed for the Far East on Sunday night after a 5-0 win over Stoke City in a closed-door friendly at the AXA Training Center in Kirkby. The match featured 2 different lineups before and after halftime and marked the debut of Florian Wirtz, the club's record signing at £116 million from Bayer Leverkusen. With Ehite, Liverpool has now made 5 major signings this summer, further reinforcing the squad for the new season.
In the midst of one of the most chaotic transfer markets in recent years, Liverpool is closely monitoring a situation that could change the direction of their attacking plans: the saga involving Alexander Isak, Newcastle star striker. The Swedish forward was, for a long time, the most secure name in the Magpies' ambitious project, but things have changed. Isak expected a new contract in 2024, a promise the club failed to fulfill. The result? Dissatisfaction, frustration from his camp, and months of speculation, with Liverpool emerging as the main suitor. Newcastle is going through a turbulent time behind the scenes, having lost key figures such as sporting director Mitchell and CEO Darren Ailes, which has weakened the club's executive structure. Even so, the club publicly insists that Alexander Isak is not for sale. However, behind closed doors, there is a desire to resume negotiations and offer him a record salary to stay, something that may have come too late. Liverpool remains alert in the market, with Rodrigo and Isak as main targets, even after investing over £190 million. The arrival of Ehite does not close the door on new attacking signings. On the contrary, it may have been a strategic move to accelerate the Isak situation, especially with a formal bid now becoming a real possibility. Tensions rose over the weekend when Isak was left out of a friendly against Celtic. Eddie Howe claimed it was to shield the player from speculation, but his absence raised eyebrows. Isak's agent confirmed they are considering offers, including one from Al Hilal, a Saudi club also controlled by the PIF, which owns Newcastle, raising ethical concerns that could draw UEFA's attention. The situation is fluid, and Liverpool is watching closely. On the other hand, Liverpool has the money, structure, and a far more appealing sporting project for Isak. He scored 27 goals last season, played a key role in winning the Carabao Cup against Liverpool, and is just 25 years old. He still has 3 years left on his contract, but his future in the northeast of England seems far from secure. The price is steep. Newcastle is said to have set an initial asking price of £112 million, but is open to discussions in the £120 to £150 million range. Sources claim Liverpool has already indicated a willingness to pay, especially if Isak expresses a desire to leave. The cherry on top came from Reds legend Steve Nicol, who said Isak's absence was a clear sign something is happening. He was direct, stating that if Howe were 100% confident Isak was staying, he would have played. Leaving him out only makes sense if a sale is imminent. Despite Newcastle's intention to keep Isak, talks with Liverpool have been respectful, helped by the strong relationship between Eddie Howe and Richard Hughes. The club is trying to renew the striker's contract, but financial limitations and Premier League profit and sustainability rules prevent significant wage increases. He is already one of the highest-paid players in the squad, and to keep him, Newcastle may have to sell another key piece. Meanwhile, Isak is starting to listen to offers, and Liverpool is alert, ready to act if the opportunity arises. Nothing is confirmed yet, but the Reds are in the race, with strategy and ambition. If the Swedish star follows his heart, Anfield could be his new home this season. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.